Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 34. Well, I decided to give the new text-to-speech engine a try. And I did take a bit of a risk, and went ahead with cloning the voice I've been using until now. It's not a perfect copy, but I think it came out relatively close to the original. After this intro, the rest of the episode will be done with the new voice. If the reception is good, then I will continue using it. Since the source was a bit robotic to begin with, the new one will also be like that. But the end result should still sound more natural overall. But you will be the judge of that. As for the actual content of the episode, it will be mostly about fixing small things around the place. I wanted to make a relaxing, chill episode, so you guys and gals can get used to the new voice. Well, without further ado, here is the new narrator.
Well, here it is. I really hope you like the new me. The real test will be the actual narration, I suppose, so might as well get to it. If you remember, in the last episode I was griping about how the farms were giving me a headache, with their temperamental way of reshaping themselves. The best solution I could come up with was to just keep using fences. Most of our time today will be centered around placing these fences all along the train tracks. Apart from being realistic, it will also make it look pretty good. And you might also remember that for some reason these fences appear as completely built, even if technically they are not. We can take advantage of that, by simply placing them, and not bothering to actually build them. Quite convenient if you ask me. Anyways, I did just tell the Ramosov bus stop to only send workers to the refinery and to the fire station. We don't need anyone going to the fields, the machines will take care of that. And I also told one of the farming distribution offices to prioritize the clothing warehouse for drop-offs. Hopefully, that will result in some of the crops making it to the fabric factory. Alright. Let's deal with the town drop-off station's queue situation. With the current setup, it is very likely that someone could get stuck behind the meat delivery train and stand still for ages. To fix it, we just need to make the queue tracks a bit longer, add a Station X crossing, and it will be good to go. I also told the meat train to stop fully unloading for the time being. We are only cutting access to one of the platforms, and we still need all goods deliveries going. So, until both platforms are good to go, we need to make sure the traffic keep flowing continuously. That curve on the outer lane could be a bit smoother. Let's see if we can make it cooperate with us. You know what? I think it looks fine. By the way, I did discover after the last episode that the coastal railroad stopped building. I know where I made the error, but it should be finished by the next episode, so the delay isn't that big, all things considered. Now we just need to add the crossing before the station, and we only need to wait for the construction to finish. Next, let's see what we can do about these pesky farm fields. As I've said, we will just place these fences, and while technically they will remain incomplete, their graphics will appear as if they were fully built. Very convenient, and if they get fixed in the future, we can just use helicopters to build them anyways, so it's a win-win. You know, I've been meaning to build these fences along the railroad for quite some time now. I even considered doing so in the last series, but never really got around to it. But with the farm fields forcing our hands, I'm kind of glad that we have an excuse to do it. Now we just need to bring it all the way to the station, and this part should be done. Yeah, I think this will do just fine. I won't bother fencing the inside of these places, they are already inaccessible for regular citizens, thanks to the outer fences. And would you look at that? We could place the endpoint right next to the first bridge pillar. It won't work with every bridge, but when it does, it will end up looking rather realistic. Like here. For this bridge, I just couldn't make the fence cooperate with the pillar, so I just made sure that the main tracks were inaccessible. Before we continue with the fences, let's take care of the signals. You know the drill by now. Chains going in, block signals going out, etc. This looks long enough for a mid-segment Q signal. Okay, where were we? Oh, right, the fences. While that is going on, let's see what I think of the new voice so far. To me, it seems a bit, I don't know how to put it. Aggressive maybe? So far, it does need a bit less babysitting in terms of punctuation for proper pauses, but it's really hard to nail down the right tone. Sadly, there is no mood slider I could adjust, so some of the lines might come out a bit off the mark. But that was doubly true for Polly, so I think this one is still an improvement over that. But these are early days for this tech. So who knows, maybe they will add more control over the kind of lines we want to do. You know how sometimes you can hear when someone talks while smiling? I would love to have an option for that. Would make the voice sound so much warmer and accommodating. Polly did have a bit of that kind of quality, which was a big plus for me. Although, now that I'm about 8 minutes into the episode, and managed to generate quite a few lines already, the AI does seem to be getting better. Compared to the first few lines, these last couple prompts sounded better in my opinion. May have been just me. I think I will leave the inside of this area unfenced for now. Technically I should place them here as well, so I think I'll just do it in the next episode. But the customs house definitely needs it. So let's take care of it. Ooh, these are nice even bends, following the tracks perfectly, just the way I like it. We just need this side, and it should be complete. Alright, the border fences are done for now. I will deal with the inside sometime in the future. And the town delivery station's crossing is also complete. At this point, it should be safe to tell the refrigerated train to start fully unloading again. Next, how about we go ahead and name some of the lines we created recently? It's only a handful of them, all centered around the meat deliveries. But I like to keep the list organized, at least when I remember to do so. And that should do it for now. Nice. The tunnel digger is almost finished with the last one on the coastal railroad. After that, it should be a relatively quick job to finish the rest. The bridges notwithstanding. We should also continue upgrading the roads around Estergrad. Since we started the process, might as well go through with it to the end. The next thing should have been the reorganization of the 2 bus routes in the city. But the road upgrades are a bit of a hindrance when it comes to visualizing the pathfinding. So, I'll just do it later. In the meantime, we can just continue placing some bushes. Since we are doing these street upgrades in pairs, we might as well go ahead and buy another paver and another roller too. That should speed things up a little bit. And here comes the big moment we've all been waiting for. Helicopters. But first, we need them to land somewhere, so let's place the first landing pad at the Kirkomov firehouse. And as expected, this new voice sometimes pronounces things differently to Polly. I got used to hearing Kirkomov pronounced differently, but to be honest, this is how I would have expected it to be said, so it's okay in my book. Let's check how it deals with the others. Estergrad, Udograd, Ramosov, Setsumigrad, Firogorod. Not perfect, but overall not bad. We have quite a bit of empty room behind these farm fields, so let's plan out a small pattern before we place the actual bushes. Let's not forget about the trees. Only placing these bush dividers is all nice and dandy, but they shouldn't be the only things we use. We still need some forests around. Whoa there! Let's just think about that shape again, shall we? Oh great, here we go again. This time I'll just use a dirt footpath and hide it with some trees. That should do nicely. You know what? We don't really need this hill to be so uniform. We can make these slopes a bit more gentle. Let's just make sure we don't accidentally get rid of any bushes in the process, and we should be fine. Okay, I think we might as well place the dividers now. We didn't have any trees around here, so we should be able to place some. Oh boy, here we go, helicopters at last. And let's watch these magnificent machines come in from the border. I feel safer already. Since we have 3 landing pads, we might as well sell one of the fire engines and replace it with a 3rd chopper. At this point, we only needed to place the fences on the other end of the town station. And I think that is enough fences for one video. I will continue placing them in the future, but I didn't want to dedicate the entire episode to them. Now let's take care of this. I think since it's merged together with the forest, the shape is less suggestive now. Woohoo! We have the first fire since we bought the helicopters, and as expected, we have one of them already en route to the emergency. It got a bit too close to the bridge, but let's not talk about that. You know what? Let's grab a screenshot for the thumbnail. That is perfect. At this point, the clothing factories should be working faster. Maybe we should tell the export office to consider it an option for pickups. Not entirely sure, but I suspect we still have those old trucks selling the stuff, so I will need to look into that in the next episode. I did check the distribution offices connected to the building, but I didn't look at the list of related vehicles, and that's where the dedicated lines are listed. In terms of the DOs, we have the correct ones assigned. We just need to check if the line is still active or not. Okay, time to take care of the Estergrad commuter lines. We've had this second bus station for a while now, time to make use of it. That's the counterclockwise route sorted. We just need the other one, and it should be okay. And now that I took care of that, we can continue upgrading the street. And oh boy, do we have a lot of people at the bus station now. We really need to start adding more buses to some of the lines. But first, let's start rerouting some of the lines to the second station, so the overall traffic is less congested at the first one. I think the power station and the Kirkimov lines could be redirected. Now that we have 2 fewer lines crowding around the first station, we could increase the frequency on some of the lines. Since the buses space themselves out, the moment-to-moment traffic should not be affected all that much. Anyways, the first one we will update will be the Ferrograd line since we need more iron in the steel mill. At first I just wanted to double the number of buses, but might as well triple it. Alright, that should give a bit of a boost to our iron industry, and in turn, our steel production too. Yep, as expected, we have more than enough coal, but not enough iron. Alright, the tunnel is complete. It should be smooth sailing from here for the coastal railroad. As we take a ride on those tracks, you will notice that it is quite bumpy. Not much I can do about that. The tracks themselves are relatively smooth, but the vehicles technically aren't running on those, but on the ground, and that thing is rough to say the least. That's why I asked the devs on Discord if they could make the vehicles follow the surface of the road instead of the ground beneath it. But as expected, they are quite busy with other things these days. But even if the first-person camera is a bit rough, the automatic chase camera view is still quite smooth. So if we ever make a video about a train riding this thing, we will just use that. And we already have a big number of people at the second bus station. As a result, the number of unemployed is skyrocketing these days. I won't do it today, but in the next episode we will definitely need to reroute more lines, and increase the frequency all around. All in all, it's a good problem to have. Now, it is time to finally start working on the decorations around the new housing development. We obviously don't have enough time to do it all today, but might as well get started. I might remove this road connection later, it is quite unnecessary. Let's see what we can do about this morning hall. Maybe a small plaza at those openings on the front. And the space is perfect for these shorter rectangular flower beds. As you can see, I did download quite a few new decorations. Some of them are more useful than others. For example, this hedge would have been perfect, but it is just ever so slightly too big for this area, all thanks to it having a collision box. This one did fit, but only in a small place where it didn't look right. Maybe we can place a small fountain instead. We have quite a big empty strip of land here. How about we start with another new addition, a big obelisk, with a red star on top. And it's the perfect size for the long flower beds. Nice, the fountain is done already. Ooh, this amphitheater should fit right in somewhere. How about here? It's already a corner between two roads, so let's give it a try. It does need a bit of coercing with the terrain tools, but nothing we cannot handle. I don't know, it seemed a bit too close to the apartment block. I'm not sure I will keep it here, but for now, let's just see how it looks once completed. If I could push it back just a couple more meters in between the slopes, I might have been more satisfied with the result. We could place a pair of these pavilions to make it look a bit more interesting. Now, if you don't mind, I will hand things back over to Polly for the outro. Bye bye everyone.
Well, this is it. Please do let me know how you feel about the new voice. Don't worry, the next episode will definitely be using this old one. Today's episode was just a test, but overall, I have two minds about it. On the one hand, it does sound a lot more natural and lifelike. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. But at the same time, it is a bit erratic when it comes to interpreting the tone. As I've said, I did send an email to the developers of this new tech to see if they are planning on adding some kind of mood adjuster. If I can make it sound consistently enthusiastic and upbeat, then I will seriously consider making the switch permanent. Also, if I do go for it, I will definitely not use the clone voice of Polly, but instead I will use my own. As I've said, this was just a test. Whether or not it was a success, it's all up to you. Anyways, the next episode should be mostly about the reorganization of the buses, and if we get to it, we might even start building the new construction yard. All depends on the speed of the track layers. But the buses are definitely the focus. We need to take care of the rising unemployment, and fast. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.